Good afternoon, my dudes. It is Wednesday and we are back with the Turbo Tortoise Top 10, this time on my absolute favorite category of monitors. As far as peripherals go, I absolutely love testing monitors because this is one of the areas where we're getting true to life colors these days. DCI-P 300% coverage, delta E's of less than 2. All of that will be explained to you when we get to those relevant models. So don't worry if you didn't understand. If what I was speaking was just gibberish, don't stress. Your boy's here. I'm here to guide you through it and give you the absolute best monitors that you can buy. Any of these that you can buy or would be looking to buy are going to be really good purchases. And obviously I'm going to be focusing on gaming models that are kind of 2 for 1, where you get good IPS for that those design environments and stuff, and they just translate that much better into your gaming as well. So let's jump straight into the top 10 and number 10 with a dull 27-inch 165Hz. Now, I've got the previous generation of this, which was curved and VA. The curve was actually quite welcome. I think 27 is like the borderline for it. G7 Odysseys and stuff spring to mind for that, but I do prefer flat on the 27 between you and I. I think the curve is okay. It's not intrusive. 24, it's a bit like, come on guys, you can see the curve on the top and the bottom. It's very hard to get on dead center. But this particular monitor has a really nice periscope neck. I'm glad that they're continuing on with this series. The look and feel is absolutely fantastic. You can put this on a table for a working environment and not look like a 12-year-old with flashing lights on it, which is always a plus, I think, for a lot of us who are in that crossover environment. And now this is IPS and not VA, so a little bit less contrast performance, but significantly better gaming performance. All the smear and stuff that was coming with that previous generation VA is now thrown out the window. So if you're looking for 27, 1080p and high refresh rate, then this would be a solid option. At number 9, it's time for some LG love with their 24-inch 144Hz monitor, 1 millisecond response time, IPS as well, so no smearing and stuff. And LG's contrast performance is exceptionally good. It's generally the best. I find the difference between light and dark colors on the LGs always seems to pop just a little bit more than their compatriots. This particular monitor, however, has been set up for VESA mounts. As you can see, there's no periscope neck in it. It's only got a tilt on it. So if you want to get the best performance from this, really highly suggest you go the desk mount route. Then coming in at number 8, it's AOC's 24-inch IPS 165Hz. It's basically the same as the LG, just a little bit better in every category. I will say the LG, having used them both, I do remember that having slightly better contrast performance, but this comes with a periscope neck, so you don't need that desk clamp. Normally these are a little bit more expensive. They put more north towards 4K. In this instance, it is obviously on sale with the Comic-Con sales at 3.5. So it's a little bit better in every single way. Of course, this would be the better option between the two, unless you really want that contrast performance. Coming in at number 7, it's got to be the Agon 360Hz. You know I was going to include this. Yes, the price is exorbitant, 21,000 Rand. But if you are like Blaze, like level CS player, okay? Blaze is my boy. If you Blaze level CS player, okay, you're going to need one of these eventually, because there is input delay reduction between this and 240. It's not the same as 144 to 240. It's like less, it's about a third of the distance gained or a third of the time gained between that. But if like you just want to wipe your eyes with silky smoothness, then this is like a really good way to do it. It's got these doors as well for like light control. It's got one of the best frames. Like this chassis that it comes with is so overbuilt. It kind of looks like it belongs in a car more than on a monitor. It's got a headphone kickstand out the side. I mean, literally every checkbox you could imagine. The control even comes onto your desk. It's even got a flip and look at, I mean, it's got an LED thingy that shines on your desk, so that people know that you've got a 360Hz even, so that you can flex your 21,000 Rand purchase. It's even got that on it. But it genuinely, it is obviously sort of the final check mark. After this, the gains and stuff are so diminishing, it's like basically pointless. So yeah, if you just want like the fastest monitor you could possibly like ever hope to have, then this will do it. And then like with a very good color gamut, because it's got fantastic IPS panel. The AOC is really winning there on. At number 6 is Dell's 240Hz, because the 25 Alienware is gone, but this is exactly the same spec as that. It's actually 24.5. It's not a 25-inch panel. sRGB rating, IPS, speed, everything else checks out almost 1 for 1. And then the price point has come down. with the same premium panel guarantee. So if you get even one stuck pixel, one broken pixel in the lifetime of the product, they replace the entire monitor for you. It's got enough outputs that you can have consoles and other sort of stuff connected to it. It's got nice USB pass-through as well, as you can see. So it's got the goods, but the base panel and setup, and I much prefer these stands. These smaller stands are so much easier to get into that right sort of distance and positioning with. Breaking into the top half at number 5, it's got to be this LG32. I'm probably going to buy one of these as a space screen because, well, it's 1440p and 165 Hz. And while it is a VA, because of that size increase and because of the resolution increase, the effect of the smearing is significantly less. I mean, when I did the Dell 3220 DGFA, I believe that's the exact model number with that VA, it was maybe 5% of what I'd experienced on my 1080p VA, so like way down. There is still some smearing. IPS is still going to be better, except where contrast ratios are concerned. That was the appeal of VA, and that's why we had so many models coming out with it. It's because the offset between light and dark colors on the VA is better, and obviously no IPS glow. So it does have its advantages, but they are kind of fewer and further between. But then you look at the price point of this guy with its 1440p and its 165 Hz refresh rate. There's no monitor across the store with this kind of price point at this sort of size. And then it's the same as the other Ultra Gears where they've got the 100 by 100 VESA mount on the back. So you can just desk clamp it. You've got a 32-inch 1440p for $5,500. Disgusting! In at 4th position, my favorite number and currently my favorite monitor, because this is my daily driver. It's no longer for sale, but I know that newer versions of this are coming. And yes, it's a 27 1080p, but it's 240 Hz G-Sync. And would you just look at this frame, okay? Please give me a shot at the back of it. There we go. Just look at it. Yes, I realize that's 144p resolution, but just look at it. It's beautiful, and the cover at the back is fantastic, and it's got USB pass-through, which is incredibly useful for me. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have to go faffing around the back of my PC at all. I literally just plug in on the bottom over here and I can test new peripherals and stuff off of it. It's got audio pass-through, it's got tons of outputs as well, so you can connect your consoles and everything else up to one monitor, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And it's got that good VESA mount stuff at the back. There's a better picture of it. Just look at it. It's so pretty. Coming in at number 3, it's the Acer XB3. This is just the Dell, the same idea, 27 1080p 240 Hz G-Sync, but on steroids, because they went for 100% of the DCI-P3 color range with a delta E of less than 2. What does that mean? It means that the variance between colors that are next to each other is going to be less than 2 on the entire DCI-P3 range of 1.4 billion colors. So the supported colors to your eyes are guaranteed 16.7 million. The ones that you can see, the variance is so small you can't actually make it out with the naked eye. It has to be digitally measured. That's how good the panel is, effectively. It is sublime. This is also the best HDR monitor I've ever used. If you go back and you check my review, you'll note that I couldn't actually tune the monitor better than the HDR, which is generally how HDR makes me feel. I've used HDR 1000, even certified monitors, and they weren't as good as this. This HDR was incredibly well done, to the point that I was like, this is a thing you need now. It's going to be a thing that you're going to need in the future. And outside of this example, nothing else has made me feel quite the same. There's also a sharpening technology on this that makes it feel more like a 1440p kind of sharpness. And it's weird. I don't know how they did it, but they kept it 1080p, so you get all the good frame rate and stuff from like CS 500 FPS if you've got like a pretty decent machine these days. But you get the sharpness still of like a 1440p panel. This thing is witchcraft on every single layer you can imagine. It's actually like astoundingly good. I think they just really cut this thing's legs out by giving it a 2-year warranty. But now we get into the second position with the Dell, basically the one that I spoke about earlier, the VA that I tested, but now this is with an IPS, and the VA was really good, and now the IPS is, it's 95% of DCI-P3, ladies and gents, so the color quality is better than the VA was. It's probably still going to have a little bit of IPS glow and stuff in it, but it's 1440p. And it's 165 Hz, and it's got the nice stand with the small base with the proper periscope neck. It looks really nice. Light beam running across the back, just a little bit of flare. You don't want it to be too like overwrought and stuff. But I mean, just look at that travel. I think it's 150 mil travel up and down. It's got the display certified, you know, the TUV, which is not easy to do, mind you. I really don't want it to come across like I'm belittling that certification. It's actually really, really tough to get. So kudos to them. But yes, it's incredible, and it's certified for consoles at 120 Hz as well. Like 1.07 billion colors is what they're shooting for these days. Not that you can see that. So the color accuracy and stuff is going to be as true to life, or as true to the game creators, etc., wanted it to be. And they've done a good job on this monitor. I'm not sitting here needing one. And finally, in the number one spot, it's a monitor I've literally just tested. It's the new AOC Aegon Pro. This time though with the League of Legends variant. I did the pink monitor. That's exactly the same panel as what you find over here. We had a couple of these with us on the stand over the weekend at Comic-Con. And yeah, the smaller base is just a massive draw. If you want to get the pink one because you want a pink monitor, knock yourself out. It's exactly the same panel as this. And that's where this thing they just stomped on everybody. So that Delta variant that I was talking about earlier, they've put that into this monitor as well. This is also less than 2. It's IPS, which is what we want to see. 99% I think was their DCI-P3 coverage. It's not quite as good as the Acer, but almost undetectable. The way that fades of colors and stuff like grass or foliage in games and stuff, the way that fades, like with autumn colors and stuff, was absolutely sublime on this monitor. It literally haunted me. And playing Tarkov in this has left such a thing on me. If it wasn't 12 grand, I would have bought one already. Like, it's that good. I would replace my 240 Hz with this because of that resolution increase, because of that color quality, because this is still 170 Hz. It's still incredibly good. G-Sync controller, everything inside here, they really knocked it out of the park. It is a little bit overwrought with the League of Legends stuff at the back. Like, I'm not actually the biggest fan of all of this going on over here at the top of the periscope neck, but I don't have to look at it because it's behind the monitor. So I legitimately don't care. If I'm just being straight, the quality of this panel, they blew my mind with it. Like, they really knocked it out of the park. And this one's got a little nice wireless remote and everything that comes with it. So yeah, you get the full AOC thingy, and then I mentioned that these also, I believe, should have a 4-year warranty. I'm surprised it's not listed over here, but they literally, AOC, as far as I know, all of their monitors come with a 4-year warranty. So yeah, this is a good investment. You probably wouldn't need another panel feasibly for the rest of until this thing blows up. Like, it's literally perfect. There's nothing I have no notes. For a change, I have 0 notes. And that, my Liptions, is your Turbo Tortoise Tech Top 10 for gaming monitors. I hope you have enjoyed it. I will be continuing on with more of this next week as we go through all of these sales periods and stuff, so you know what to look out for. So when something that's in your niche and price bracket goes on sale, maybe you can save a little bit of money and still get that same experience. Until next time, hope you guys stay safe, keep well. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.